Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is a 2016 action-adventure game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is the fourth main entry in the Uncharted series. Set several years after the events of Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception, the player controls Nathan Drake, a former treasure hunter coaxed out of retirement by his presumed dead brother, Samuel. With Nathan's longtime partner, Victor Sullivan, they search for clues of the location of Henry Avery's long-lost treasure. A Thief's End is played from a third-person perspective and incorporates platformer elements. Players solve puzzles and use firearms, melee combat, and stealth to combat enemies. In the online multiplayer mode, up to 10 players engage in cooperative and competitive modes. Development of Uncharted 4 began in 2011, soon after the release of Uncharted 3. It was led by creative director Amy Hennig and the game director Justin Richmond. Development was hampered in 2014 due to Hennig and Richmond's departure from Naughty Dog. They were replaced by Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley. The team sought to incorporate elements of the open-world gameplay with larger levels to encourage free roaming, exploration, and combat. The relationship between Nathan and Elena was central, and Naughty Dog attempted to humanize them more than in previous games. A Thief's End was released in May of 2016 for PlayStation 4. It was the first Naughty Dog game developed specifically for the PlayStation 4 console. The team took advantage of the hardware to process larger dynamic environments. Following its announcement in November 2013, A Thief's End was widely anticipated. The game was acclaimed by critics, praising its gameplay, narrative, emotional depth, visuals, and multiplayer. Several reviewers found the game a worthy conclusion to Nathan's story. It won several year-end accolades, including Game of the Year awards for several gaming publications, critics, and award ceremonies. With over 15 million copies sold, it is the highest-selling Uncharted game and one of the best-selling PlayStation 4 games ever. A standalone expansion, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, was released in 2017. A remastered version alongside The Lost Legacy as part of the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection was released in January 2022 for PlayStation 5. Now, as discussed, the relationship between Nathan and Elena was the central focus for the game's development. The team considered Nathan as a reflection of their own mentalities, as they have grown older and matured. Nathan has also matured in age and wisdom. The game's actors regularly contributed to the development of the characters. Druckmann found that the actors were made more familiar with the characters' motivations and took their advice while writing. Straley wanted to explore character relationships deeper than the previous Uncharted games, taking inspiration from the story of The Last of Us. The announcement of Laura Bailey, a white actress portraying a character of Nadine Ross, who is of black South African descent, led to some backlash. Druckmann explained that when the character was conceived, her ethnicity was not yet determined. Bailey was chosen from an audition of casting calls for actors of several heritages. Druckmann also noted that the Caucasian character in the game is voiced by a black voice actor. For the game's environment sounds, the team performed outdoor recordings. They ensured the environments felt alive but not overbuilt by introducing several ambient changes as players progress through the locations. Now, this is an absolutely incredible game. I loved it from start to finish. I found it just magical. And it was actually my first experience of the Uncharted series, and frankly it just blew me away, from the incredible graphics to the fantastic storyline to the deep, well-rounded characters. This is just a very, very special game, and that is without knowing the full backstory. Of course, now having played all of the games in the series, this is just an incredible crescendo to this epic, wonderful series. Nathan is a stunning protagonist. He isn't perfect, he's flawed, but he gets on with his wit, his passion, his learned skills, and his intellect. I've always loved the banter between him and Sully and their relationship, which is now more established in this one, which is great to see. Obviously, having now the addition of Sam, Nathan's brother, enter the fray is a fantastic add-on to the game. Sam is the antithesis of his brother, yet they share the same passion. They just go about it in different ways. And seeing their relationship as brothers who love each other but don't actually know each other anymore is fascinating to watch play out. Of course, the central focus of the game is the relationship between Elena and Nathan. They've had a topsy-turvy relationship, to say the least, over all the games. But in this game, they start off as just a normal married couple. But Nathan is somewhat frustrated, as normal life doesn't really suit him. Of course, Elena doesn't want him to pursue his treasure hunting exploits anymore, but when he does go behind her back and lies to her, this of course creates a huge rift within the relationship. Now, the acting from the leads in this game is absolutely superb, and there's an emotional scene when Elena confronts Nathan for the first time after finding out how long he's been lying to her that is just beautiful to watch play out. Now, of course, in an attempt to rescue Sam, they now work together and slowly but surely find each other once again. All through the chaos, they find love once more. Elena has always been Nathan's compass, if you will. She is steadfast, incorruptible, and their relationship really works so well because they are such opposites. The antagonist in this game is also fantastic. Here he is Rafe Elder, played here by Warren Cole, a wealthy, dangerous businessman and treasure hunter. He's fully fleshed out bad guy, and he makes for an excellent antagonist, one of the best in the series. We also have the addition of Nadine Ross, played by Laura Bailey, who runs the private mercenary group Shoreline. She's an interesting character, but Laura Bailey attempts to do a South African accent. And as I said, I'd give her A for effort, but her South African accent isn't quite on point. For me, please cast South Africans in these roles, as the accent is a notoriously hard accent to pull off, and a foreigner doesn't always capture the nuances of the South African accent. In saying that though, she is a fascinating character and does add to the story. With incredible, mesmerizing graphics, a fantastic, deep storyline involving the treasure hunt of the real-life pirate Henry Avery, you travel from Panama to Italy, from Scotland to Madagascar, eventually to the fabled pirate utopia of Libertalia. This game is just beautiful. The ending rounds off the series perfectly as we meet Elena and Nate's daughter Cassie. For me, I could see what the game makers were going for. They wanted to complete the full circle, as it were. But hopefully someday we'll get another Uncharted adventure with Nathan and Elena, as this game series is just too fantastic to end here. Almost perfect in so many ways. I played it a few times, something unusual for me. It's just one of those games you just never tire of, and I enjoy it every time I pick up my controller. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, gets a 9.5 out of 10.